Hi and welcome back to the photographycourse.net YouTube channel. In today's video I'd like to talk to you about a topic that may seem very basic, it's simple, but it's essential to taking good photos consistently, and that's how to hold your camera well. How to hold your camera may seem like a really simple thing, but it's essential to good photography. Whether you're using a camera like this that has a viewfinder, or whether you're using a smaller mirrorless camera with no viewfinder, learning to hold it well is the first step to taking good photographs. The key thing when holding a camera is to be comfortable, just to feel good with it in your hands. If you've got big hands and you're using a small camera, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. If you've got small hands and you're using a big camera, then yeah, this is going to add some complication as well. The ideal thing is to have a camera that feels good in your hands and is not too big or too small for the size of person that you are. Personally, I've been using a large camera most of my career, so I'm quite comfortable with it. But I still have to be careful every time I go and take pictures to make sure that I'm holding it well. And it's kind of instinctive now. Anyway, the basics is to get your right hand on the grip or on the side of the camera, and then your left hand supporting the weight of the lens. And with this lens, it's kind of a medium size zoom. It's not too heavy, but it just helps to support the weight and to support the direction that you're pointing your lens. The next step is to make sure that your elbows are tucked into your sides. You don't want to be standing like this with your elbows out, because it's just not stable. If your elbows tucked down against your chest and resting lightly, then this is going to be more stable than if you're trying to be like an aeroplane. And so that's the first key thing. And when you come to take your photos, you're relaxed and comfortable. Don't be holding your camera too tight. Don't be holding onto it with a firm grip that's so tight that might cause camera shake. Sure, hold it firmly, but be relaxed and just be comfortable with it in your hand. You also need to think about how you stand and where you position your feet. If you're standing with your feet together at the same point, you're not so stable. If your feet are apart about the same width as your shoulders are, and one foot slightly forward, the other one slightly back, you're in a much more stable, grounded position that you're not going to be so likely to move. And so this is a good stance for taking pictures. Every time you come to take a picture, it really pays just to have in the back of your mind how you're holding your camera, how you're standing, or how you're positioned. Maybe you're crouching down, maybe you're sitting. If you're crouching, you may be a little bit unstable. It might be easier to put one knee on the ground and then go from there. Be mindful of the lighting, as always you should be when you're taking photos, but especially in low light when your shutter speed might be creeping down lower and lower and slower and slower, you need to be much more aware of how you're holding your camera, because at slow shutter speeds, if you move your camera slightly when you're taking a photo, it's going to end up with a blurring in your pictures that you don't want, because the camera's moved, because you haven't been holding it well. If you don't have a tripod with you, or you can't find somewhere to place your camera, find something to lean on or find something to brace yourself against to help you in steadying your camera, and just finding a post or a wall or something like that to lean on, or if you've got something to rest your elbows on a table or a bench, something like that. This can also help steady your camera when you're using a slow shutter speed. Now, if you are using a camera without a viewfinder on it, you're needing to use live view. Don't do it like this. Use the same principles again. Hold it with one hand, put the other hand underneath it is usually the best way. Careful that your fingers don't get in front of a lens if it's a short lens. And then just hold it comfortably away from you so that you can see it. If you're holding it too far out, you're going to become unstable, so you need to bring it nearer to you. If you are in need of reading glasses, like I am, to be able to see the monitor properly, put them on so you can see what you're doing and make sure that your images are sharp on the viewfinder. But it's basically the same as holding a DSLR or a mirrorless camera with a viewfinder. Hold it so that it's slightly away from you, but that you are still having your elbows kind of resting against your body and that it's stable. And it's the same when you're holding it vertically. To hold it this way, I prefer to hold a camera with keeping my elbows into my sides when I'm holding it vertically. Sometimes it's tempting to hold it like this, but I'm not quite so comfortable like this because there's less stability. So holding it with the shutter button so it's on the downside, you're able to keep your elbows tucked into your side. It can be a little bit unusual to release the shutter from this position, but when you practice it for a while, it's like anything. You get used to it and it becomes easier and easier. Just to recap, hold your camera in your right hand, rest it on your left hand so that it's comfortable, not holding it too tight, not holding it too loosely, but just gripping it and being in control of it, and with your elbows tucked into your side. Spread your legs so your feet are about the same width apart as your shoulders, and one slightly forward and the other one slightly back, and this will give you the most stability. And be mindful of your shutter speed so that when you do press the shutter release, you're going to get a nice sharp picture. So there it is. Pretty straightforward, it's pretty easy. Use a tripod when you need to, but otherwise hold your camera well so that you're going to get better photos every time. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something in this video. If you have, give us a thumbs up and click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can stay up to date each time we release new videos.